Hello everybody, I hope that you're all doing well and have had a good week. We're just going to get stuck right into this one because this week in 2012 a story was catapulted to the nation's attention. During this time in 2012, my home city London was hosting the Olympics and all eyes around the world were on us. And then something unthinkable happened in South London in Croydon. After being reported missing on Saturday the 3rd of August, the body of 12-year-old Tia Sharp was found in the attic of her grandmother's home. The very house that police had searched multiple times before and found nothing. The very same house that news cameras had come and done appeals with her family. The very same house that Tia was reported as last being seen alive by her grandmother's boyfriend, Stuart Hazel. On the 10th of August 2012, 8 years ago this week, the missing persons report that saw over 8,000 flyers handed out, dozens of TV appeals and headlines trying to get Tia home safely, and countless volunteers searching for the missing schoolgirl became a murder investigation. And the police didn't have to look very far to find who was responsible. This is the anniversary. Shwa-na-na-na, 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 shwa-na-na-na. Whilst Tia's body was indeed found this week 8 years ago, our story begins a few days earlier, a week before on the 3rd of August. Tia hadn't been seen since the morning. It was getting late and her family were getting worried. It was extremely out of character for the 12-year-old schoolgirl to be out of touch from her family for so long. This is the story that was told to the police. Tia Sharp had stayed over her grandma's house. Even though her grandma was at work, her boyfriend, Stuart Hazel, was watching her. He told police that on the morning of the 3rd of August, Tia woke up, got ready and left the house that he shared with her gran Christine in New Addington in South London. He told them that she had stayed the night and then left the house at around midday to go to Croydon to buy flip-flops. He said that he was hoovering or something, so didn't get a chance to ask Tia who she was going with or how long she was going to be, but he did give her the money, a tenner, to buy the shoes. His story didn't stick straight away because he had told a family member something different. He told them that he had dropped Tia to the tram station in the area. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but London is one of the most heavily CCTV places in the world. And this is what was irking the investigation because within a short amount of time of her being reported missing, the police were able to find CCTV footage of Tia the night before she went missing. In the CCTV video, and I'll link it in the description box for you if you want to see it, Tia and Stuart Hazel, her step-granddad, can be seen just walking around and shopping in a store. The police released this video to the public because Stuart had said those are the clothes that Tia was wearing the next day. I'm also going to link the documentary that I watched in my research for this case as well, because on the 9th of August, Stuart Hazel did a TV interview, a bit like an appeal, a bit of a special for the ITV News. And he was gushing about how much he loved Tia, and he even said that some people have asked if he had hurt her and he'd never do that. I remember thinking that's a bit of an odd thing to say, but also I've never been in a position where I was the last person to see someone alive and something bad potentially has happened to them. Another thing that didn't do well for the investigation is that a neighbour had told the police that he had seen Tia leaving her grandma's house on the morning of the 3rd of August, thus corroborating Stuart Hazel's story of her actually leaving the house in New Addington. There were 55 reported sightings of Tia by the members of the public, but none was substantiated. 80 police officers were assigned to the search and over 800 hours of CCTV footage was collected, and it would seem that Tia had literally just disappeared. I just want to make it clear that I don't actually feel that sorry for the police in this investigation. Yes, somebody coming forward on the road that Tia's nan lived and saying that he saw her, of course, hindered their investigation. But I do not feel sorry for them because they had searched the New Addington home multiple times, 3 times in fact, before the morning of the 10th of August. They found Tia's Oyster card, so how would she have got on public transport? They found her phone, which was really suspicious because like any other schoolgirl at that age, it was glued to her hand. But they didn't find her body, which was sitting in the attic because Tia had never left the home. The media attention from the case started to have negative effects on Stuart Hazel because the media had found out about his shady past. They brought up his convictions for drug offences, for burglary, and for possessing a machete as well. Because of all of the attention, Stuart Hazel wasn't able to remove Tia's body from the loft. The natural heat of the loft and the really hot weather of the August summer meant that Tia's body had started to decompose. Tia's grandma actually apologised to the officers for the smell, saying that it was probably the cat, and that's when they did a fourth search of the home and they found her in the attic. I actually read a report that the officer that discovered her body, he just put his hand sort of just through the hatch, and that's how close she was to the opening. I've looked and I've listened and I've read trying to find what the excuse was for Tia Sharp not being discovered when she didn't leave the house that she was killed at. And, you know, the news crews were there and the police were there and they even had dogs searching. And all I saw was that it couldn't be marked up to one individual officer. I did see something about some of the officers who were searching, maybe they were new to it, but the fact is they missed her in the loft. She was found and she was wrapped in a bedsheet and also in the black bag. An hour after her body was found, Stuart Hazel was apprehended. He'd actually kind of tried to go on the run and he was found in some woodland under a blanket, under a log or something. Christine, Tia's nan, was also arrested, but she was later let go without any charges being brought against her. And Paul Meehan was arrested as well, the neighbour who had said they had seen Tia. Well, this was that guy, and he was arrested for wasting police's time. There was so much scrutiny on her family during this time, and I think it is understandable because Tia was found in her nan's house. They had definitely brought Stuart into Tia's life, but she called him her granddad. They saw him as part of the family, and when a paedophile is grooming a child, it can often be really, really subtle. One of the things that stuck out for me is how close him and Tia were. For her birthday, her mum said that she can pick one friend to go to Chesington, which is a theme park here in England, and she picked Stuart Hazel. And she had friends, but this is one of the people that she was closest to in her life, and that's what makes it so terrifying, because he had planned to do something horrible to her. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing. Stuart had invited Tia around on that day because he knew that her grandma's going to be at work. He had been building up to it. In the subsequent police searches, they found a memory card that was hidden in the door frame of one of the doors. And on that memory card, they found pictures, they found videos of Tia when she was asleep, when she was unaware that she was being caught on film. There were pictures of her moisturising her body, videos of her, even him standing over her while she's sleeping and zooming in on himself in the mirror. There were pictures that were found on the memory card, pictures of Tia that seemed to have been taken after she had been killed, with her posed sexually. And I know it's very easy to say you have to be careful, but who would have thought that after 5 years of knowing her, this is what he had planned? His internet search history included looking for child pornography, incestual sex, also searching for videos involving girls with glasses because Tia had glasses, and he's killed her and he knows he's killed her and he's put her in the attic, and there are reporters and police camped outside that house with lenses trained on the door, and he's there and he knows her body is in the loft. He's doing TV appeals and he knows her body is in the loft. He's begging for Tia to come home and asking who took her, and he knows her body is in the loft. Imagine every single search before they found Tia Sharp. What was going through Stuart Hazel's mind? Till this day, the police believe that Hazel killed Tia Sharp after becoming obsessed and grooming her. Her cause of death was being smothered. The trial began in May of 2013 with Stuart Hazel pleading not guilty. 5 days in, he changed his plea to guilty, and he was ordered to spend a minimum of 38 years in prison, meaning that he will be 75 years old before he's eligible for parole. On the 5th of August 2013, Paul Meehan, that stupid neighbour, what's his problem? Was found guilty of wasting police time, and he was sentenced to 5 months in prison. I know that I'm showing a lot of anger towards Paul, but I don't know why he would lie. Maybe some people, they want to insert themselves into investigations, and that's why I'm telling you, in case you're that person who wants to be saying that you knew somebody, who wants to be saying that you saw somebody when you didn't see them, and then now bodies are not being found. And there you have it, the story of Tia Sharp, 12-year-old who went missing from New Addington in South London, and whose body was found in her grandma's attic a week later on the 10th of August 2012, 8 years ago this week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week for another episode of The Anniversary.